Hola, ¿cómo están? Bueno, yo estoy muy emocionada. Me tocó un tema muy interesante y hemos estado debatiendo un poco de cómo vamos a llevar esta conversación. Pero una conversación que en verdad nos afecta a todos y es sobre el user experience. No sé si ustedes han escuchado sobre qué es user experience, pero aquí tengo este grupo de panelistas increíbles que vamos a hablar un poco sobre el user experience a la realidad. Porque estamos viviendo este mundo súper cambiante, todo el mundo habla de la importancia de la tecnología, cómo está influyendo la tecnología en nuestras vidas, pero al final también seguimos viviendo una vida real. Y eso lo vemos desde la educación hasta luego en los diferentes mercados laborales. Que vamos a empezar esta conversación contigo, Dianita, que pues representa St. Lawrence College, que de hecho es una de las universidades pioneras en hacer user experience como programa de maestría. Y cuando Diana me dijo que había este programa en este college, me acuerdo hace un buen par de años, cuando recién lo estaban abriendo, a mí me voló la cabeza. Es como que, wow, espérate, hay una persona que se dedica a entender el diseño del usuario desde diferentes perspectivas. Así que, Diana, te voy a dar a ti la pregunta de arranque. Eh, y de hecho, estoy aquí hablando español y vamos a hacer esto en inglés, porque aquí tenemos a Javlan que he only speaks English, so I'm gonna switch to English now. What a user experience. So first question goes to Diana. What is user experience and where does this concept come from?
The importance of that has been to the user satisfaction makes the how they design and develop the products and the services. And to understand what they do is understand and improve the service in different things. They have to see the effectiveness, the quality, how it uses, and everything that is important for better results of the products and services.
Amazing. And from an experience of an institution doing this type of program, why do you think that that this program has been created? Like how important is this concept that it has been pushing an institution to create a master's degree for the user experience?
Because we made it like 4 years ago, and it's our program is a postgraduate program, and like the needs of the different companies. So that's where it started. That everyone wanted to know and see where are the factors that affect that the product is not good or the service is not good. For example, our first group of postgraduate students had to work and make their practice in the airport of Kingston because they were making the remodeling of the airport, and they had to see how it will be more effective in all the places. The person who goes in, the person who gets with the bag, the person who receives the bag, the person who attends the people, and that make a good result to see it better. And that's what they're looking in different companies in each one depends.
Amazing. And actually, that takes us to our next question for Emilio, actually, that he comes from, he represents a university, well, a group called Swiss Education Group, which I'm alumni from that group, by the way.
A proud alumni.
Proud alumni. Um, I, you come from a university that explores and educates in the service industry, which is very broad. Okay, and Diana just said something very special, and it's the user experience students were taken to the airport in order to create the user experience. So it takes you to Swiss Education Group and all the service industry. What types of businesses invest in user experience, in a user experience expert?
It's a lot of businesses because the hospitality industry, it's more about, all about the things, not only hotels and restaurants. It's an industry much bigger. We're talking about banks. We're talking about also like airplanes. We're talking about other cruises, other type of industry that really, that the focus is on people, because all the products that you really develop is for people. So how do you can approach these things to the people is making them more reasonable and more sensitive to them, so they can understand the brand, can understand the concept, and all the things that are behind of this type of a product. So for the hospitality industry, is very important that you they can invest in these type of things, because why, for example, a bank wanted to recruit a student from hospitality. Why? Because about the customer services. We are really good in customer services and how can resolve a problem for the people. So through these apps that are really unpersonal, that is not really a person, that you have to make it them feel that it's like a really, really close things to them. So, for example, a lot of industries really are investing in this type of things, like restaurant, hotels, banks, to improve these type of things, so the customers can have a better approach to the brand and a better connection with them.
And making life simple. I'm gonna rescue a word that you used, Diana, and she mentioned the word effectiveness. And now that you mentioned banks, I remember a few years ago. I'm not sure. Do you carry cash?
No,
Like,
no,
no,
not too much.
no. So in Panama now there's like a revolution. It has been a few years, and they've been changing the user experience of this app. But now, even if you want to tip someone, and I'm gonna do a very a small marketing here for free, but we have something in Panama called Yapi, okay, which is it's now very easy to pay someone. I never carry cash, and even the guy that is just checking my car, if I tell him I don't have cash, that's no excuse, because now I can pay with Yapi. And Yapi is an app. It's technology. Someone had to go and check the whole user experience. Something brought this. It's like, okay, we need to fix the issue that we don't carry cash anymore, but we need to exchange money easier and faster. And actually, it comes from your savings or your credit account. You pass the money with an app, and in seconds, like there's no excuse like I'll pay you later. No. Like you have to pay now because you have Yapi, right? And you go in Panama and you ask people if they have Yapi, and if they don't, you're already like, oh, okay, so how am I gonna pay? And then there's a lot of other things being created. But I love the fact that you say that bank, it is a part of the service industry.
Yes, because this kind of industry, it really wants to approach to people, because, for example, like you said, Melanie, now we do a lot of things through our phones. Probably 20 years ago, really we would never think about it, that you can make a transaction of money in your phone, and make it a bit trustable. So you have to really invest in these kind of things, because people now in this world really wants the things immediately, doesn't want it to wait, doesn't want it to pass for a very complicated process. So really want it very easy. So I think that's why the reason that if you understand the people's problem, and you can make the solution to them and make it more issues.
And even the health industry, like at the end, this is where all the industries just meet up together. I can recall I had an appointment last week, and I did everything online, everything on an app. And I'm gonna bring this next point to Jimena, because she represents UE, and it's Applied Science University. So it's where things get done, right? And I was doing my appointment. I never talked to anyone. Actually, yes, I texted the doctor. The doctor sent me a link, and I had to do everything online. I got a confirmation the day before, 1 hour before my appointment, and I was in the doctor. Everything was simple, even the payment. So my next question to you, Jimena, is how do you design a user experience in an application? Because you're receiving students that are interested in different industries. How do you do this from an app perspective?
Yeah, as you said, Melanie, we are an applied science university. So we do the things like learning by doing. So the first step is to observe what is happening around the world. Our students have developed some apps. I love one that was created just for women that used to travel alone. And are texting and exchanging experience for hostels, restaurants, about security. And as Emilio said, it's all about people. So it's just to get what is happening outside into an application, and you will see all the people, all of us are using user experience and user intelligence every day. Uber, Yapi, WhatsApp also now is doing user experience with new developments. Also now, in terms of love, we have a lot of applications, right?
Important topic in this conversation.
No, I know, guys, because
Very
you
important.
are really young, for example. And in my time, I'm not that old. But we used to do like sometimes emails on my phone, and now you met the people because of an application.
And you're not that old. Before that, it was letters.
Yeah,
And it would take
before
like
that.
2-3 months to get that love letter.
And now probably the love of your life is because of your
It's
behavior.
okay to me.
It's because of the behavior, because you're doing like this, and it's user experience according of the app that is observing you. It's going to show what is the real love.
Yeah.
Banks, everything.
Which we don't even know, but the app knows, right?
Yeah, the apps knows. So that is something that we do in an applied science. It's learning by doing. Try to observe psychologies, behaviors, what is going on. So
I'm loving what you're saying, because at the end, I in between lines, I also read that we need user experience experts, but we also need experts in different fields in order to create those user experience applications.
yes.
So you need all the user experience experts that will guide the process, but then you have to connect with the experts in different areas. And that's when I'm gonna bring two other of our reps, Webster and Queen's University Belfast, because these universities are big. Like, you guys offer, different education programs, different faculties. They're big universities. Right. So, how are user experience concepts applied in life experiences? And from a Webster point of view, that I was just visiting Webster a few weeks ago, and it really blew my mind on how much technology the university has. So talk to me about how this is applied in life experiences.
Well, before to start, Melanie, I really want to pick your brain in something, and it's because sometimes we feel that customer experience is something that we are going to experience actually in a university, or that you are going to learn. But actually, we don't usually realize that we are experiencing customer experience every single day of our lives, even though if you are going and entering into, I don't know, like a specific store, let's say in a mall. Sometimes whenever you go to a store, you start feeling like a specific smell. Like, sometimes you don't even realize, but then your brain just identifies this specific brand with this specific smell. And this is like everything about customer service, customer experience, because you already identified that with a specific brand. So that's pretty much something that all the universities, and I'm talking about like all of us, because I know it includes all the brands, all the universities, we really want to make sure that any person who decides to go into this world of customer experience is able to identify, to define, and to illustrate all these design concepts that will make your life as a real experience. So whenever you enter into a museum, and we were talking about this like before, we can even have like a huge screen of 4K, amazing, and then you go into a museum just to see, I don't know, Egyptian culture, whatever. And then you can see yourself like experience all this great culture, and then you can even take a picture with a background of like all this Egyptian culture, and it's like you are feeling, experience it, and you kind of like have this sense of being in Egypt at the time that you are just walking into a store or into a museum. So I believe it's important for us to understand that every time we go to a store, we go to a university, we go to a specific place, we are experience those techniques to make us just travel in our minds and just feel the environment, feel the sense, feel the smell, and have this sense of like, yes, I'm experiencing this in this part of the world, even though I'm in Panama, but I feel like I'm in like, I don't know, Greece or another places of the world. Or I can identify going to this office with this smell, so I already start thinking about traveling. So we as a users, as a people in this world, we are always experience those kind of feelings. And sometimes we don't even understand that we are actually part of this technology or this research of customer users. And we are all the time experience that. So what we want to do in our education or our universities is to show that to the students and make sure that they understand the value of bring emotions to every single situation or experience that you are having in your life. So whenever our students are like asking, how can I get better on this, or what I can do with this, you can say, okay, as soon as you make people feel in love with a smell, with a memory, and experience that, then you will be successful because you are transportation your mind into a place that you really want to be.
Actually, at Webster, I recall it's one of the few universities that has, and you can maybe remind me here, the name of the screen.
The 4K,
Yeah, it's
the big
it,
screen.
it's something like, again, that blue. I love when I get
I know.
my mind blown. But actually, and it was for students that were studying film.
Right.
But they were doing like a joint program or a project in order to use it for education purpose. So they were doing a special project with the film students in order to bring this to change education in a real world experience.
Exactly. So initially, it was of course made for like people that is like, studying film or like game design or even like some communications that will have those emphases. But at the end of the day, they were like, okay, maybe we have here people that is trying to get into, I don't know, arts or like science or like any other topic not really related to film or game design. So they were like, okay, if I can show you here in 3D in this huge 4K plasma, what are you going to see whenever you are experiencing geographic or physics or chemistry is great because we can use these to make you feel that you are already into your brain or to whatever you are studying. So we can actually find a really good opportunity in this customer experience, in these like tools to actually make the students feel they are going and deep into this world of like knowledge and learning. So that's something really cool about like those kind of tools that we're having in the university.
Great. And then, Javnan, when we talk about Queen's Belfast University, it's like, sometimes it's even intimidating because it's ninth oldest university in the UK.
Yes.
It's very old. Like,
Yes.
I think
Correct.
what year is that?
1845.
Okay,
It's old.
History problems
It's
here.
nearly 200 years.
Yeah, it's really old. But it's been keeping up with everything that our students need in order to basically transition into the work labor. And Queen's University Belfast, it's a research university. So being a research university, of course, it has different factors that influence the credibility of the brand. So
Yes.
can you talk to me a bit on how do you relate user experience to the experience that students have at Queen's University Belfast?
Perfect. Thanks, Melanie. So, as we all agreed earlier, user experience exists in every single industry, in every single parts of our life. And it's similar, same thing in the education industry and within the university as well. So when we look at, specifically when we look at the students' experience, so what we always see, like even while you're using an app, you will see, oh, do you have any recommendation? Do you have any how you want to improve our apps, etc. And the similar things applies to the students come to the study with us, and we ask students' experience what we can do to improve and to make your study experience better. So there's a lot of user experience, user research to try to identify how we can keep up with our teaching quality and infrastructure with like a compass facilities, etc. At the same time, while we're talking about our students, we also talk to the industries and see what they want from this, expecting from the graduates. So we talk to the industry and say, oh, so this industry say we want our students to have a more practical experience, then we should be imply some of the practical working experience into the teachings. Should we bring our students back to the industries and communicating with the industries? And this all feed back to the curriculum design, and then how we can improve our teaching standards and make ourselves more credible in terms of the teaching quality and then students' experience, etc. So that's how we can apply all this back into this our teachings. When we talk about one thing I actually particularly really want to mention is about when we talk about user experience, it's massive data. So that includes so much data every year from a single interest. Like all of us probably have a similar interest in one area, but we will have a more detailed, different kind of streams. Like we want to, I more prefer this, I prefer that way. If we're all interested in IT, but some people are interested in cybersecurity, some people are interested in hardware, some people are interested in software engineering. So what should we do is about like understanding the students' expectation and understanding what they want, and based on that, the university's research, and then to design our curriculum and then to bring out the new contact, and that's how I think it's working better for the future students.
And at the end of the day, it affects everyone. And I was talking to Javelin, and this is something I mentioned to all my students. It's like, even I have a student that she did her master's degree at Queen's University Belfast, and she was involved in research, engaged into research, and one of her research was how to build a girl-friendly city. At the end, that's user experience. Like, she has to go out. She's a girl from a third world country, so we don't have those type of research, of course. But she needs to feel all the emotions on like how she grew up, how the basically she studied architecture, how the design of the park affected her personality, her growth.
Yeah.
Students are doing this like in campus,
Yeah.
and that's also user experience.
Exactly. So that's how we're gonna do. Like it's, as we mentioned earlier. Like when we talk about when we try to prepare our students for their future career, future employment, it's not only about like we teach the knowledge to the students. It's not about the traditional education like we teach in the classroom, no practical experience. We want the student to learn from the real life research. And that's how we engage with industry, and we push the student to their limits, and then to conduct their own research and more relating to their future development of our societies. And students are most of the students, I would say, they're really enjoying and they opt into this type of research and really enjoying the research they've done. And then of course they absolutely receiving great results. And we were so proud to have such students as well, of course.
It's amazing how we talk about the user experience, and at the U4U we have this philosophy. Basically, I don't want to know what you're good in subject-wise in school. I really want to know how you want to change the world, like what type of problems you want to solve, and the impact. Yes, and it's like sometimes parents are scared when we come up with those questions because they're like, well, maybe they're too young to know that. And it's like, no. Right now they're connected to, what makes them feel anger, like how they want to change the world. And I wanna pass this to talk about emotions. And I'm gonna bring up again Swiss Education Group, because I feel that the service industry sometimes is taken for granted. Students, sometimes they don't understand that there are so many programs out there, so many new careers, that I think you all have new careers that until they don't go to the university, they don't understand that they have these many options to study. But I want to go back to Swiss Education Group because you guys have something very special from the service industry, and I want you to talk about it, on how you use in your curriculum, how you make students feel the emotions of the elderly people, which is for people that want to study business. Right now, we have a huge population of elder that have the money, have a lot of money to spend. They want the services, and right now the world doesn't have services that adapt to them. So how is the university using user experience in order to make students understand what type of services they must provide to this target?
Yeah, in Cesar Rich colleges, one of the university that Swiss education represents, because it represents another three, but let's talk about more
My
about
school.
about Cesar Rich. And for example, in the hospitality industry, if you want to understand your customers, and for example, this type of people, very elderly people that really have special needs. So how you can explain a student, so what is this type of needs to a person? So you have to put that students in their shoes, okay? So they can understand it, feel it, and see what this person really needs, because if not, you will not understand it. That's why always we said that, put it in my shoes, and you will feel like the way that I feel, no? So, for example, for us, we make it a really, how to say it, a nice exercise, for example, that this kind of a person was under the needs that they need. For example, we put weights, in the arms of the students, in their legs, in their hips, in their every part of their body, so these students can feel how it is felt, to be a person of 80 years, and you needed to say that you have to carry on your luggage for these stairs until the lobby, and you will be make your check-in and at the hill, so they can understand it, how difficult it is for these persons, to make that effort. So at that moment, you can realize what is the real problem of these kind of things. So you can start to develop an innovative thinking to solve these kind of problems. And how can you help these kind of people? So for us, it's very important, so the customer experience, so they can really feel about it, how the other person really feels. You could put it in their shoes, and you know exactly what these persons really need. So that's one of the things that we used to do in our universities. So our students can understand the problems of their customers. If they're older, if they're probably deaf, they're probably blind people, how they can improve this industry so everyone can have a place, in this world. That is very important to include everyone.
I love that. And then we go to the root, like Cesar Ritz is using this kind of basically customs to make the students feel and create new services. Someone has to create those customs, so they have to go to a bigger university to create those customs. That brings fashion, that brings robotics, that brings engineering. Then someone has to sell those customs to universities, that businesses there. And at the end, it's not about, again, it's not that I have to go to one specific program. There's so many programs out there. What point of view do you want to have from the different problems in the world? And I think the world is changing. I'm really excited for all the not for all the problems, but I'm really excited the solutions. I feel that students, this generation, is really like getting empowered and understanding that I don't have to be, I don't have to go to a big company, or I don't have to be like a superstar student in order to solve problems. So, and I'm gonna pull back from all the user experience questions, but how do you feel that your institution is helping international students understand that there's a space for them out there in this, in this world that is changing so much? Because I talk to parents and students all the time, and I must say that sometimes I feel frustrated because we sometimes in our countries, we don't understand that the changes are now. Like talking to a parent and explaining them that there's an actual program about user experience. If I don't know someone that is working with that, the first thing that comes up to my mind is there's not a job for me. Even in our countries, for someone that wants to study film, and understanding that even it can be even a part of the communication faculty, the first thing that comes up to the mind of those parents is, well, he wants to study film. Like, the industry is not as big in Panama. He's gonna, of course, die of hunger because he's not gonna find a job. Or if we go to UE with all those special programs, games design, there's so many things. I love illustration. I love even how the psychology program at UE has a few technology components. How do you think that your universities are helping our Latin students understand those world changes and how to adapt to them?
Yes, of course, I can do it. So there's a couple things that will come to my mind whenever you ask me this question. So the first one is the ability that we as a university communicate that to our students in Latin America and to our agencies at the end of the day, because it will be like the first channel where usually students will get to know the university and the programs. So it's really important to make sure that we deliver the right information for our Latin American students, for our agencies, or whoever is like promoting the universities. But besides that, it's also like really important in the university whenever, and I'm speaking of course about my university, we really make sure that the career advisors, they really drive you to all this path whenever you enter to a university. So basically, maybe you say, okay, I want to study business because that's the only thing that I know in Latin America. So it's business, medicine, law, and engineering, right? But so you choose, let's say that you pick business. But whenever you enter in those universities, you will be able to have access to an academic advisor that will show you that, for example, in the United States, you will be able to have like a major, which is like a big, let's say like the big portion of your career, and then you can have a minor where you can try to diversify or try to find like a different path. And then it will be shown to you, or is what we do in our university, to make sure that all the students will know all the opportunities and options that they will have in order to like expand their knowledge. And this is really important because usually sometimes we think that someone about like, I don't know, in fashion field is like, okay, so do I need to work like in Chanel or Ferragamo, or if I'm studying like film, do I need to work in Warner or Universal? No, even if you go to Google, like if you go to Google, you will need to go to a great university, and then you need to study, I don't know, like in a specific degree in order to be able to be part of the Google shop department. So you need to have knowledge of fashion, you need to have knowledge of cybersecurity, you need to have knowledge of sales. So I guess it's also like a really big effort that we are putting into it as a university to make sure that all the students will be able to find different options, to learn about different careers. And if you don't want to focus in something specific, okay, let's take business or let's take engineering, but make sure that you are able to take a minor where we can explore something different that will make you unique, and it will actually impact the world more than a regular MBA or regular engineering or like regular business career. So it's not easy, and I must say, because we all have experience with all these Latin American students, but whenever the Latin American students go to an American university, as is of course my university, they're like really ready to open their mind and say, okay, what can I do here? Show me which minor can I take? Show me what is the right path if I want to be in this place in the world. So I guess it's cultural in Latin America, but I always think that the students and the young people is so ready to have like their hearts and their mind open to learn new things, and we are so ready to give the tools they need in order to change the world and whatever they want to do.
Mm-hmm. And also, I want to add something. Also, through the internships, no, because in some of the European universities, like applied science, that is in our case, they must do 1 semester of internships. We have the user experience and user intelligence bachelor degree, and they can pick up any industry. They can go through the Volkswagen, but also they can go through Milka, that is the chocolates, or they can do whatever they want. Yeah, so it's just to let them know that it's not just one way. They have a lot of opportunities. Sometimes in Latin America, we said we must be a doctor, as you said. We must be a lawyer. But also, you can be an illustrator and do like fantastic things like Frida Inmersiva, I know, or Dali, these kind of expositions that are using user experience because you're inside of the painting.
Yeah.
So it's just to transmit that it's not just one way. I believe this is one of our main job to, and also with you, Melanie, that you're amazing doing that. The you for you, yes. Just to know the why of the people, right?
You know, yesterday I went for a TV shopping, okay, with my husband. And, you know, for a girl, I'm not a person that watches a lot of TV. But I was like, okay, we're going to go watch, you know, see a few TVs. And that's it, like the TV. And then suddenly we went in the store. And the TV has a frame that it can actually go vertical with the remote control. And I was like, why? And it's because people are putting it as a, you know, in their walls and buying art.
Wow. Yeah, it's a painting. It's a painting.
I was like, free commercial. But it's, you know, that is marketing. It's like, Liz thought about this and immediately she thought Samsung. Like that's crazy. It's crazy. It's
You
branding.
will basically have arts on your wall and change every day. You can change the pictures. Because it's switching.
Yes.
And then-
And
even
they're
some-
selling it for
Yeah.
loads of money.
I know. Even some some of the AIs, for example, you set up the program on AI and then just to tell it, say, okay, so what is the most researched word in Google today, for example? And then they probably AI gonna generate the arts based on that most researched word.
But you just to go quickly, you just tap any subject here, and when you go to see Instagram and everything, it's gonna be
Oh, yeah.
about
We
that's
will have a
exactly.
lot of Samsung TVs right now in our social media, guys.
Yeah,
Get
that's
ready.
We're gonna
gonna
have
be.
it. We're gonna have it today. Yes. Absolutely.
It's crazy.
I know it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's just so amazing. Like actually, our life is impacted by so many different factors and influenced by them, and then we even sometimes don't know. It's actually we're being influenced.
We're being brainwashed. That's so
But
scary.
actually, yes. Like to be honest, like that's how I think it's amazing. Sometimes, like you know, and that's actually absolutely another career to think about. Like when people talk about like you mentioned earlier, like working the different experience and working the different industries. And if you're studying a specific subject, you're not only studying that specific subject, you're only thinking, oh, traditionally thinking, I still work in the finance industry. Not that anymore. Not that anymore. Because internet made us connected with each other. There's a very, very niche market, niche career that you want to focus on. So there's so many broader, like, and then that's how that most of the universities currently like modern education as teaching students about like how to explore more opportunities, not only about like okay, so I'm thinking about I'm working in this industry, and like when I grow up, I think some of us sitting here, it's a similar situation. It's like our parents decides what we're gonna study, but nowadays kids are smart. They do their own research.
Just nowadays.
Yeah.
Just nowadays.
So kids are smart.
I know.
So kids are smart. They know how to, because the internet made the things much more easier, more accessible. But when I was a kid, like the internet is literally just starts going up, and then so it's very slow, and then you still hear the connecting the internet, hearing this beep, beeping noise.
When someone used to
Use the phone and the internet fail. I know, like I saw this kind of the memes today, and then telling me like, oh, how this now the generation won't hear this kind of voice anymore. So that's true actually. So I mean that's exactly we have limited access on this type of research, so we relied on the our parents' experience to telling us what is a good industry and what is not a good industry. But nowadays, the industry changes really quickly, like what is popular and what is not popular. Like after the COVID, suddenly after the COVID, the search on the demand on the IT, on the cybersecurity, just went to the roof because everything started becoming online.
Yeah, but then people think that everyone has to study that.
Yeah.
But and then we need people and
Think about like a something else.
yes.
Right? So that's exactly what we want to do. And then so think about like studying something else and studying a different industry. And because this world, one day it's going to be stop like a field, this industry, you have to think about the other study experience. And that's how like Melanie and your team like is supporting student. And then like you put us in contact with students and then we speak to the student and explore the different degree options, degree opportunities. Even when student at the university, well, there's dedicated to the specific subject areas, there will be placement advisor, there's academics and telling them what industry you can work. Like we talked about the film study, but at the same time, field study is not about only about the filming, it's about like YouTube videos, about like our podcast today,
Yes, advertising.
advertising, and there's a lot of
Even
things.
education for help.
Exactly.
Like, how do you
Exactly.
teach other people to do what they need to
Exactly,
do?
exactly. So that's, I think it's we
Awesome.
can't limit it in this small box.
Yeah, and I like to talk about when I talk to students, it's about transferable skills
Yeah.
because we really don't even know what careers are going to be out there when they finish university. I mean, and that's something that Canada and Germany has it very clear. Even Switzerland, it's like you go to university, you practice, you go out fast, and you focus on the skills that you need to know for a specific job, and then you're in the labor market right away. Like it's they believe in faster education. And you wanted to share something, right?
Yeah, I wanted to share two things. One is when I have a student, I always tell them, if you don't know what to study, decide and think, where is the world going? The world has, like an example, energy. It has to be all solar energy. So look if you're interested in that program, but see where we're going, not the same program. And the other thing that, like in St. Lawrence College, we have 100 programs and 40% of the programs have a subject that is called user experience. So it's going in all the areas, and I think it's important for the students. Not only the postgraduate, it's that one.
That's a good way to put it. Like, look where the world is going, and also making peace with the fact that probably we know until certain point, and then it's we don't know. So I think making peace with that is amazing, and making sure that the institution that you choose are really up to date with understanding that it's transferable skills that they're trying to teach students. That it's more than just the academics, the whole student experience. Like we talked about user experience, now I'm talking about user experience. Why the university? Why the program? Why the country? What resources the university and the country will give me as an international student when I'm a student there, and the opportunities that the university will give me in order to help me transition to my next stage, that it's going to real life, getting a job, right? So, okay, I think we're done. Thank you guys for this amazing conversation. It was very interesting, and I'm very excited to really see what our students are going to, just solve. There's so many things. I mean, I always tell students, it's not about I wanna end poverty, or I want to fix the water situation. Yeah, that's like big projects, but there's world peace. But from even other perspectives, like maybe I like cats, but maybe I don't like cats and I don't want to save all the cats. It's like maybe I want to get into the elder target because it's a very nice target to get in, and that's the thing I want to solve. Or maybe I want to go into technology. I hate people. I'm not a people's person, and I just want to do something with computer science and not knowing anything about the rest of the world. So thank you so much, guys, for this amazing conversation. And remember, we have a fair coming up. Tenemos nuestra feria este sábado. Gracias. Están bien estudiados. Este sábado de 2 a 8 en el Hotel Megápolis y es por inscripción, así que los esperamos. Gracias.
Gracias.
Yavna, you can do your Spanish here.
Gracias.
Gracias.
I'm so good.